So Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out in a week, and so I thought now would be a good time to talk about my mindset going into the game. So just to give you a bit of background knowledge, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself like a die-hard fan, like some other people on the internet. So the first two Kingdom Hearts games are two of my favorite games of all time. I love them both for very different reasons. The first game has aged quite a bit. It's not really a game that I like to go back and replay because the gameplay can be kind of frustrating. But at the same time, the first game has like one of my favorite stories in a game. You know, especially as someone who's a big fan of Disney and Final Fantasy, it was cool seeing like all the references to the game, and I just thought that the game told this nice, simple coming of age story that was really cool. And then, so Kingdom Hearts 2, the story to me wasn't as good. They kind of made it a little bit more convoluted, but at the same time, it was still an enjoyable story, and I love the ending. And the gameplay was amazing. It has one of my favorite combat systems ever in a game. And I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it's going to be a very good game. You know, I think it'll be a pretty fun and addicting game, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to leave the same impact as maybe those first two games did, and I don't think it's going to live up to all the hype that it's had over these last few years. And part of the reason I feel this way is because of the last few games that have come out, like all the games that came out after Kingdom Hearts 2. So there was 358 over 2 days, which in my opinion had a pretty okay story with some good moments to it, but the gameplay was terrible. And then we had Birth by Sleep, which I thought was just a very okay game. I think it's a little overrated by Kingdom Hearts fans. You know, the story, it got even more convoluted, and they retconned a couple things, and I just didn't really care for the characters as much as the ones from the older games. And I thought the gameplay was, you know, enjoyable, but it was a huge downgrade from Kingdom Hearts 2 still. And then there was Kingdom Hearts Recoded, which had okay gameplay, but a really, really bad story, in my opinion. It had, you know, it felt very unimportant, and it was just, the cutscenes were just really boring to watch, and I just kind of thought it was stupid. And then we have Dream Drop Distance, which is a game that I have mixed feelings on. You know, I think the gameplay is pretty fun. I still think it's worse than Kingdom Hearts 2, but I think I liked it a little bit more than Birth by Sleep. And the story, I thought, again, just like with Recode, I thought it was terrible. Honestly, I thought it was super convoluted. It retconned a ton of things from the older games, and I just, you know, really didn't like the direction it took the story in, and that's where my main concern for Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be. To me, it seems like the story for Kingdom Hearts might be pretty messy. I'm still looking forward to see how the game ends, and I'm excited to see all the characters that I love again, because, you know, I love all the main characters like Sora, Donald, Goofy, Riku, Kairi, Mickey, you know, all of them, and even some of the side characters like Roxas and Axel. They're great characters, and I'm excited to see them again, but at the same time, you know, I'm just worried that the story is gonna, you know, keep going down this very convoluted, complex way, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I do kind of like stories that are complicated, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts is better when it keeps things kind of simple like they did with Kingdom Hearts 1. And also, they're bringing back a lot of characters that I don't particularly care about, like, the Birth by Sleep characters have always just been kind of bland to me. I never really felt an emotional attachment to them. I always just kind of thought they were, you know, just very bland, kind of mediocre characters, and kind of dumb too. Like Terra does a lot of dumb things in the story of Birth by Sleep, and then Ventus is kind of annoying to me, and then Aqua is just like, okay, like, I like, a lot of the things that Aqua does are really cool, but at the same time, her voice acting is very bad to me. It's just like super, she doesn't emote very much, and she doesn't have a very good personality, and it's just kind of hard for me to care about her. And they're also bringing back characters that I feel had like perfect endings in the older games, like Roxas and Xion, and I don't like that they're bringing them back and doing all this stuff with them. I like the way their stories ended in the old games. I think they ended perfectly. So I'm not really happy about that. And then lately I've kind of been thinking about the gameplay more, you know. Like a few years ago when, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 first got announced, I was just really excited, and for several years I was just like 100% excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, at least from a gameplay perspective. I always just thought the combat looked, you know, amazing. It looked super fun. It looks like a better version of Kingdom Hearts 2. But then I've heard some feedback from the people who have actually played demos of Kingdom Hearts 3, and they're saying that the game feels very floaty, like some of the games I mentioned, like Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance felt very floaty, and they're saying that this game doesn't feel quite as floaty as those games, but it still is definitely kind of floaty. And you know, the problem, I think another problem with the later Kingdom Hearts games was that they focused more on like the flashiness of the combat rather than the actual combos and the basic combat mechanics, which make the game more satisfying to me, and not so much all the big, ridiculous, flashy stuff. And so I'm worried that Kingdom Hearts 3 has focused a little too much on that, and we won't get as satisfying of a combat system because of it. Now, I did play Kingdom Hearts 0.2, and I feel like that game showed major improvements over those other games, but I think it still feels like a little bit, it still feels worse than Kingdom Hearts 2 to me, which is kind of a shame. And recently I went back and replayed that game, and it wasn't quite as fun as I remember. I still had a lot of fun with the game, and I still feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with Kingdom Hearts 3, but there were a lot of, the combat still felt a little floaty, and there were a lot of annoying little moments with the camera, especially in the boss fights, and the situation command system is kind of weird. I'm not really a big fan of it, and yeah, I just hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 has fixed some of these issues, because I know they took feedback from that game, but apparently they haven't taken as much feedback from the people who played the demos for Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm just hoping that the game doesn't feel as floaty when we actually get to play it. And, you know, I really just want the gameplay to be as fun as it can be, because that's the main reason I like Kingdom Hearts. You know, all the Disney and Final Fantasy stuff is great too, and, you know, some parts of the story are interesting, but the story has just gotten so convoluted, and it's just harder for me to care about it now. And also, if you think about it, this game has been in development for so long, and we've been waiting for this game for like 5 or 6 years now, and you know, it's almost impossible for games to live up to the hype when they've been hyped up for so long. And like, look at Final Fantasy 15, another Square Enix game. You know, that game was technically in development for 10 years, we waited 10 years, and I still really like the game, you know. I remember absolutely loving it on my first playthrough, but then not as much on my second playthrough, and, you know, looking back at it, I still think it's a good game, but I don't think it really lived up to my expectations of it, and I don't think it overall lived up to a lot of people's expectations. I think a lot of people were disappointed by the game and just kind of thought it was like pretty good or okay, and not like this big, groundbreaking, amazing masterpiece of a game that we all wanted it to be. So those were my quick thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. I'll probably do a review of the game after it comes out, or at least I'll try to. I haven't really had as much time to make videos as I would like, but I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that the story and gameplay are as amazing as I want them to be, and I really hope that this game becomes one of my all-time favorites. But you know, it's just kind of hard to see it being that way. I'm still really excited for the game. I've been thinking about it all month, and I've pre-ordered the game, and I'm going to be playing it day one, and I just hope that the internet isn't too harsh on this game. I hope that for a lot of Kingdom Hearts games, it gives them what they want, and I meant Kingdom Hearts fans. I hope that Kingdom Hearts fans get what they want, and this game just makes people happy. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have a good day.